My struggle's real. Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Teresa.
I'm nervous. Okay. When I first started making the decision about who I was going to pick to be the #1 candidate to introduce me on my senior speech, I thought to myself, who knows me best? First, I thought about my dear friend Antonia. She's my BFF at school. And then I thought about my BFFs out of school. And I thought that would be unfair to them because I have too many BFFs. Then I thought about my mommy, and I said, well, she would probably embarrass me and it'd probably be boring. So no offense, but I love you. Lastly, I thought about God, and I said, well, he knows. He's the only one who knows me best. I mean, he knows what I'm doing all the time. Then I said, well, I don't exactly have his number on speed dial. I decided I'd introduce myself. Okay. I've been knowing Teresa Davis for 18 years now. And I can honestly say she's one of the most interesting persons I've ever met. She's sassy and sweet and has many multi-personalities, as you can tell right now. She can go from Teresa to Reese to Reese Quisha in 0.5 seconds. And most important, if I could be her friend, I would. On Teresa's behalf, I would like to thank her mom, grandparents, and friends for all showing love and support for over these last 11 years at Collegiate, and I don't know where I would be without you all. Thank you. Hello. Good morning, Global Collegiate students. Good morning, Global Collegiate students. I'm Mrs. Davis, and in today's lesson, I will be schooling you on life. Today, we'll be discussing racism in America, and I'll be putting you through a test to make you question, how offensive can I be towards people, and how racist am I actually? In life, we usually think we are open-minded and have more interactions with other races and cultures, when in reality, we have limited experiences with others. Subjects like sex, gender, race, and religion are often told to be avoided because of the controversy that can be caused for bringing these types of things up. But being the spontaneous person and great teacher that I am, I decided to take a risk and address this crucial topic by conducting a test. I've created some questions and thoughts that may trigger some thoughts. I encourage you to think about the first thing that comes to your mind, and hopefully there's no uneasiness felt. Now it's time to evaluate yourself. Let's begin the verbal test. Are you a racist? Would you ever date outside your race? Are you attracted to people of other races? Have you ever been in a stuffed car and said, we're packed like a bunch of Mexicans? Do you believe most stereotypes are true? Would you allow your children to date outside of their race? Would you allow your children to marry outside of their race? Have you ever gotten on a plane and looked at a Middle Eastern person's funny thinking, what if? Do you think all black males live like Juicy J? This is serious. How many people of another race have been in your house? Have you ever mocked someone because they had a different accent compared to you? Have you ever told a non-Caucasian person that they sound white? Do you think all black people like Kool-Aid? I have asked these questions because I think it's time that we become aware and acknowledge our thinking. At Collegiate, we're often taught to not say some of these things because we're supposed to show class and have tact. But how many of us actually think these things? Now it's time to move on to some mind stimulators part of the test. I will say something stereotypical, and hopefully something will trigger your mind. People in this ethnic group talk really loud all the time. People in this ethnic group tend to be lazy. People in this ethnic group always talk in another language. People in this ethnic group are violent. People in this ethnic group tend to be racist. People in this ethnic group are better than others. People in this ethnic group play sports and are good dancers. People in this ethnic group speak freely about their sexuality. Males in this ethnic group are better lovers. People in this ethnic group tend to be terrorists. People in this ethnic group are shy and closed about their feelings. People in this ethnic group disrespect women. People in this ethnic group practice strange customs. These fill in the blanks serve to remind us of the stereotypes that some of us use every day. People tend to stick with people who are similar to themselves and avoid people with differences, which is understandable because to them it's considered comfortable by making them seem as though they belong. But that's not the problem. The problem stems from people who avoid others because of their differences and refuse to learn about them. When we don't make efforts to learn about other cultures, we start to assume and make guesses, which is where ignorance comes into play. But luckily, there are 7 billion humans on this earth, and each of us shares similarities. Every one of us must eat, breathe, and drink to stay alive. We each are born from families, learn to speak languages, have our own culture, have hopes, fears, dreams, and feelings. But even though we share so many similarities, us and them thinking still continues. People still say those people and fail to see that those people are just the same as they, human beings. Society says that race and religion makes people different. This is false. People are by nature afraid of what they don't know, but this cannot be the excuse every time someone commits a racist act towards another human being. Not surprisingly, we usually tend to hear about most bigotry and prejudices when it goes viral, whether it be through social media or just the news. But the truth is, a lot of these prejudices start far below the level of conscious thought. We often stereotype people without even consciously thinking about it. We often, well, at least I know I do. At collegiate, we are taught to not judge others and to act as an accepting community. But how many of us judge others on a daily, unconsciously? Most of the time that I find myself categorizing others is when I'm not trying to. We have misled others into thinking that with time things will just get better. And so much as we're willing to admit that racism is still a problem today, and then we conclude that it will no longer be as big as a deal when the older generations die off. But it's not just a matter of changing attitudes about skin color. It's about feeling our perceptions of different people and stopping the spread from one generation to the next. Summing up a whole group of people and judging them by what race they are is not fair to every person born into their race. And in order for us to free our perceptions of people and stop categorizing, we need to learn to free our minds. Stop the ignorance, people.